Hey guys, as I'm sure you're aware, patch 1.69 was released today, and with it came the Italians. So today we're going to be taking a look at their 4.3 battle rating rank 4 premium plane, the G.55S. Now, if you purchase this plane right now, it gives you closed beta access to the Italian Air Force's tree, which you can do at a cheaper price if you buy the CR32. However, if you're buying this, it's because you want to buy it as the Tier 4 Premium, not just because you want the closed beta access. So, right now, people tend to underestimate this plane because they don't know what it can do. They've never flown it, they've never really flown against it. So some of the basics of this plane are, it's fairly slow. It has 3 MG-151s, 1 mounted firing through the propeller, 2 mounted just outside the propeller firing off the wings, and it is very maneuverable. Now, I mentioned it being slow. It is only slow in a straight line. In a dive, it can reach speeds up to 800 kilometers an hour IAS. So, it is definitely not something you want to be messing with. Now, later in this game, I will be demonstrating the maneuverability of the plane, as this was one of the earlier matches I played in it, and I've still only played about 9-10 games in it, and I'm already about halfway through the Italian tech tree, so I believe I have about 20 kills-ish. I've only died one time. So, people don't know how to fight this thing, and it's actually kind of funny. Because it's basically an Italian Spitfire. That's really what it feels like. It feels like a Spitfire with better cannons. So, yeah. Now, I have crashed a few times in this plane. You have to be careful when using the torpedo on it if you do intend to use the torpedo. You have to drop below 300 kilometers an hour, and you generally get shot down by the flak of whatever you're trying to kill. So keep that in mind if you're going to try and use the torpedo, as I was experimenting with, and it just got me killed a bunch of times. So, yeah. That's that. Don't really mess with the torpedo too much. I mean, I've been using it here to get like a light cruiser or something once I've dealt with the Air Forces. But as you can see there, the MG-151s are very, very powerful. I'm using the air target belts, which are basically full of messenger shells. So it doesn't take much to down enemy aircraft. One quick burst and they're generally down. Now, you do have 650 rounds between 3 guns, so it's not like you're lacking on ammunition either. Now, people generally have been making the mistake of either not, like, they just don't know how to fight it yet, because it's new, right? And it's not like, and it's so spammed right now that if you play this battle rating, you're going to fight it. So, yeah, have fun. As you can see here, I'm having no problems keeping up with the Spitfire Mark 5C. However, I don't believe he was ever using flaps or throttle control, but it is fairly difficult for me to tell even from the replays. So, with proper flap control and throttle control, you can definitely keep up with the Spitfire. And while it is only a Mark 5, the Mark 9s don't turn all that much better, although they are faster. So, the 151s actually have a lot slower muzzle velocity than I thought they did. That's why I miss all of my shots. I wasn't leading enough, and that's actually still an issue I've been having, is not leading enough. But that's just pilot error, not the plane's fault at all. But as you can see, even in a downwards rolling scissors, I mean, the Spitfire isn't slowing down as much as me, as this thing's energy retention is pretty bad, and if the Spitfire had tried to slow down more, I probably would have overshot. But yeah, I never actually wound up overshooting. Now, fun fact, I don't actually kill the Spitfire. I go heads up with the Typhoon, down the Typhoon in the head-on, go to turn around, and the Spitfire kills himself. So, that was something quite irritating, but funny nonetheless. So, now I notice a Firefly and a P-47 coming at me. So I spray at the Firefly, critically damage the Firefly, then I evade the head-on from the P-47, which actually puts me right on the 6 of the Firefly. Whether that was because of the crits or because he just doesn't know what he was doing, nonetheless he ends up in the water. So, yeah. Now, I mentioned this thing being fairly slow. Yeah, that's because it is. You will not catch the American planes in level flight. It just will not happen. You will not catch them. if you can climb above them, which you usually will be able to, except for P-47s and stuff on maps like on any map that you both spawn on, that normally both teams would spawn in the airfield. The name of the map is escaping my mind right now, if that's okay. So the P-47s, because they get an air spawn on maps like that, you will usually be about the same altitude as them, but you will usually be above P-51s and such if they have not side climbed. So at this point in the match, you're going to see me experimenting with the torpedo, because there's one guy that's AFK, and I actually ran into him 3 games in a row. It was really annoying. And a P-47 off 20 kilometers an hour, 20 kilometers away. So this was actually my first time landing this thing. As I said, new patch, nothing. I have no reference for what this plane would be like, other than the guns and the engine. So last guy left. I'm gonna just go kill a light cruiser. So I'm actually just going to cut it here and jump into the next match. Alright, so here we are in the next match against the Russians. Now, I was actually almost very, very rarely getting games against the Russians. It was always against the Americans and the British. And this is the only game I have against the Russians, so I'm going to use it for footage to show how you beat the Russians. And it's pretty simple. Just abuse your 151s. I haven't really had any spectacular dogfights in this plane. Most of it has just been me getting on the 6 of the enemy because they aren't paying attention, as this LE5 in front of us is going to show us the lethality of these 151s, because there's this thing called tunnel vision, and yeah, he didn't last too long. So this plane, its energy retention isn't the greatest, so if you want to beat it, take it into the vertical and don't go heads up with it. It's pretty easy, as you just saw, to clean up kills with this thing in head-ons. So don't go heads up with this thing. And if you're flying it, don't go heads up with anything with 50 cals, because you get set on fire really easily. You're slow, so if you run into, if you're a P-47 pilot or a P-51 pilot, you're trying to fight these things, do it boom and zoom, just like you're supposed to do to everything else that you never seem to do that to. But that's beside the point. Also, you need to be very careful in this plane. I've pulled about 13 Gs, 12, 13 Gs extreme overload. I've never bothered to try and pull more than that, so just keep that in mind, that you may actually be able to rip the wings off. So that is something to be concerned with. As I said, it's got poor energy retention, so try to avoid any vertical fighting. For example, if you see a Spitfire taking you into the vertical, be very, very careful with your energy state. You might have the energy to pull up, you might not. A Spitfire pulling up in the vertical will pull energy out of its ass, you will not. You will lose speed very, very quickly. And keep in mind, you are almost as maneuverable as the Spitfire, so if you want to get into a dogfight with him, you better make sure you're the better pilot. Otherwise, you're going to end up dead, and he's going to end up with a free kill. So that's about all I've got to say. There's not much else to say about this plane. It is an amazing plane, but it is not an overpowered plane. And it has an amazing research reward on it as well. In a game like this, I was pulling 15,000 RP consistently on a premium account with this aircraft. So if you're looking for a plane to grind out Italy with, I would highly recommend this plane, as, well, 1, you don't really have any other options, 2, it's an amazing plane. Even if they put it at a 4.7, which I can kind of see them doing, because people are being bitches, and even though, oh, I'm negative in the P-47, and I think it's overpowered because I'm bad. Anyway, that was an actual person. I'm just not quoting his name. But, yeah, so I would highly recommend this plane, and if you're fighting it, just make sure you're faster than it. That's pretty much it. So, pretty short video today, as I want to get back to my grinding. I'm only halfway through, and I'm going to be gone this weekend, so trying to get everything done tonight. So, I'll probably be back with reviews of more Italian planes. Just let me know what you want to see, because for sure I'm going to do it on the G91 when I get there, but other than that, let me know what you want to see, and I'll catch you guys next time.